Are you experiencing a lifting plateau in the gym? Try these tips to see if it helps you break through that in your next training session. The first is check in on yourself and see, are you actually training at a high enough or hard enough level? A lot of people tend to underestimate their rating of perceived exertion, or on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard they're actually lifting or working. Most people end up lifting around 50 to 60% of their 1 rep max, when really they might want to be lifting closer to 70 to 80 to 90% depending on the lifts and or reps or sets that they're doing, and they're underloading that so they're not giving themselves enough of a stress or a stimulus to elicit adaptation. Well, next time you're lifting in the gym, really ask yourself, am I lifting at a 7 or 8 out of 10 effort? And if you're not sure what that feels like, take a set all the way to failure and see how many reps you're actually getting to check in with yourself to see what that actually feels like. Number 2, are you lifting frequently enough across the week to see gains or changes in your training? One of the biggest things that increases the response to exercise training is going to be volume. Volume is the total number of reps and sets you do in your training program across the entire week. Now, some people will isolate all of their training to 1 or 2 days, and that's totally fine if you can do enough volume, but what most people can't do is all of that volume at once, and it's easier to separate that out into 2 or 3 days or increase the frequency of your training. Something that might be helpful for you if you're having a plateau is to simply increase the frequency of how often you're doing the lift that you're plateauing on, or doing accessory work that complements that lift on a different day than when you were doing that lift. Number 3 is, are you eating enough? A lot of people underestimate how much protein and or carbohydrates or simply calories they need to support making progress or gaining strength or muscle in the gym. When you're trying to gain strength or muscle in the gym, it's going to be helpful to eat about 0.7 to 1 grams per pound of body weight per day of protein in order to match or support those goals. Or if you're someone who has more adipose tissue, simply scooting that down a little bit and eating 0.6 to 0.8 or 1 gram per pound of lean mass or estimated lean body mass. When it comes to training and exercise in the gym, we might want to slightly increase carbohydrates if we are under eating those or unintentionally restricting those, because they can really help with our performance and or how much we're actually lifting in the gym during our training sessions. Carbs give us immediate energy and allows us to do that short, quick power output that you need with strength training in the gym. Number 4 is, are you sleeping enough? A lot of people don't prioritize quality of sleep or duration of sleep. And while there are limitations and impacts, I'm not claiming those of you with kids can do it perfectly. Sleep has a really important and powerful outcome on our muscle protein synthesis, muscle retention, and muscle gaining. It also can impact how we eat and what we crave the next day. Improving your sleep quality, if you can't improve duration, can help this. But sleeping longer, if possible, will allow you to increase this muscle protein synthesis that turns into gains in the long term. Something to help do this is simply establishing a pre-bedtime routine that allows you to wind down and actually ease into sleep. And yes, this means no screens, potentially reading in dim light. And the last one is time. Sometimes you are doing everything right, you're training in the gym correctly, you are making progress, and you don't see it. Your body's simply adapting underneath the stimulus of what you're doing. Sometimes we're not going to have breakthroughs every single week in training, and you might lift the same or similar rates weeks after weeks before all of a sudden your body's able to do more. This is a reminder that progressive overload isn't forcing weight to increase every single week, it's your body's ability or ceiling to train going higher and you being able to increase the weight in response to that. And being able to increase weight should be done in response to how your body adapts, not forcing it along the way. It's not uncommon for you to stay at similar weights for a while and then suddenly be able to increase that over time. One way to address this in the meantime though is by simply increasing the reps you are doing at a certain weight until you can increase that weight in the gym. Working in rep ranges might allow you to find some wiggle room, especially when it comes to hypertrophy versus specific strength goals, or using things like small change plates so you can make teeny tiny jumps that aren't as big as the 5 or 10 or 20 pound force jumps that you are having to make in the gym depending on the weights available to you. If you found this helpful, let me know below and follow for more.